Yo, what up? It is the 31st of March 2024. It is currently 5:17 p.m. on a Sunday, and we're coming up to the end of March. We're wrapping up. We have two bits of mail, as always. We have, let me just, what can I get rid of here? What is this Victoria letter? Okay, yeah, this is just some random stuff. So, we have the classic combo of a HRA letter and a crazy red letter. Password for tomorrow is have safes, and our score is 136,885 points, which is pretty good. I'm pretty sure the best you need to get all of the items, like the rewards from the HRA, is like, I think it's 150,000. So that's pretty close. Anyway, we gotta do our watering for today. Oh, and it also, I forgot, it's Easter today. I kind of forgot about that. Not a particularly notable holiday for me, because I'm not, well, I feel like, you know, Easter's only that exciting if you're religious or a kid, basically. Like, obviously it's relevant for if you're Christian or any of its denominations, because it's a Christian holiday, although obviously it's not exactly depicted as such in a lot of its more marketable, you know, representations. But, you know, there's that, but there's also, if you're a kid, it's really cool, because it's like, oh, free chocolate, which, yeah, it's good. I like chocolate still. It's just harder to have it. Because once you get older, you stop being able to have things that you know that you like, because it just makes you feel bad after, like, a second. Not even, like, emotionally bad, although that is an element. I feel very easily emotionally bad after eating anything unhealthy, or not anything, but, like, you know, depending on what I eat, because it's like, oh, well, I shouldn't have eaten so much. But also, like, you just get sick way easier. Which, I'm not saying I'm like a million years old or anything, but it's just a thing that starts happening. So yeah, if you're not one of those two things, then Easter isn't that exciting anymore. Although, I did get to have a very big breakfast today, which is nice. The big breakfast is always good if you've never had a big breakfast before. I guess, I don't know how, like, well known of a concept that even is. I imagine most people would hear big breakfast and know what I'm talking about. It's the, it's the classic way you go all out on breakfast, where you have pretty much every single item that you could possibly have, that's all basically using every single appliance in the kitchen to make it all. Sometimes I just like to stand here and stare up into the clouds. Sometimes I see other things up there than just clouds. If I had a slingshot, I wonder if I'd be able to shoot them down. Why is she talking like she's outside? That's weird. That's a bit of a bug. She should be talking about, inside stuff. But yeah, big breakfast is like... Then there's also... Big breakfast usually includes stuff that you probably otherwise wouldn't have for breakfast, just because of how much a hassle it is. Because, like, that's the thing, is that breakfast is such a good meal. I think breakfast is my favorite meal of the day, personally. Which, I don't know, I think that's a pretty commonly agreed upon thing. Like, it's pretty generally accepted that breakfast is the better one. But it's the hardest one because it's the first meal of the day, which means you have to, you know, make it when you've, like, woken up. Which sucks. But, like, that's the thing, is that once you go through with having a good breakfast, it makes the rest of your day better by default. So don't skip out on breakfast. I'd recommend trying to stick to a sleep schedule that enables you to be awake in time for breakfast. Because, you know, people say, like, oh, well, breakfast... I mean, there's people that are in two camps, where it's either... breakfast is the first meal that you have of the day, or breakfast is a morning meal, and I'm kind of, I'm a little bit in the middle of both of those things, because while yes, by its actual definition, breakfast literally means the breaking of fast, the fast that you know, have from the moment you go to sleep to when you wake up, I mean, that's not exactly how it's applied. So, at the same time, I would generally say that breakfast has its own set of food that if you're not eating, or if you're not, having it in the morning, then it doesn't really count as breakfast. But the main important thing about breakfast is having a good meal as your very first meal. I already have this gyroid. Yeah, you should have the first meal you should have should be something that gets your energy up, something protein, something good amount of energy. But yeah, I would recommend personally is that I remember a lot of the time I'd feel bad about the concept of having a traditional breakfast when I would wake up, and because uh, my sleep schedule was pretty bad, I would usually be waking up in like midday, or like even as late as like 2 or 3 p.m. Or at least I'd be getting out of bed at those times, and you don't really want to have breakfast at that point, or like a traditional kind of breakfast, because it's already like so much later in the day that it feels weird, or at least that's how I felt. So I would just personally recommend trying to stick to a better sleep schedule. For the past couple days, I guess almost a week now, I've been going to bed every night at midnight, which I'm sure for some people is still like late, and I'm sure it is, but for me, going to bed at midnight is like heading in early. Like it's very it's not, I wouldn't say it's jarring, but it's definitely early by my standards. This is a place where men meet and discuss important manly things. Yes, manly things like how to spruce up your space with lace and flowers. But yeah, so I've recently started sticking to a sleep schedule. Plus, going back to uni, I have to wake up at an early enough time every day anyway, because that's just part of the routine now. But I definitely think going to bed at a good time so that you wake up at a good time it sounds obvious. It's like, yeah, of course that's good for you, but it just makes your days better. I'd like a chance to talk to someone who isn't you. No offense. Of course, it'd be even better if they talked about muscles. Great. Same old, Antonio. But yeah, just yeah, I mean, it's very like the thing about me going to bed, like the way my brain always, I guess formed it was I always hated the idea of going to bed because, or I think this is a subconscious thing, but I really hate the idea of like quote unquote wasting a day. Like if you get to the end of the day and you realize you haven't really done anything significant, you kind of feel like, what was the point of that day? And for me, that would mean I try to make the day better by staying up later. And it's not like I'm going to do anything in that time. It's just that in my mind, I don't want to go to bed with the like this idea that I haven't really achieved anything that day in my head. So therefore, I just sort of wait to, I guess, to see if something happens. That's the best way I could describe it. But I think you have to kind of set aside that and realize there are going to be days where you're just not going to do anything, and that's fine. You don't have to do something every day, and it's also a thing about making those somethings not as harsh on yourself. Like, uh, if it's even something like doing your laundry, or like cleaning a room. Like I have the way my attention works is that I'll literally like see a point in my room that I want to clean, and I'll clean it with the intention of doing it for like 5 minutes, and then the rest of the day I'm cleaning up stuff because one thing leads to another, and I'm just going through all these different places. I think you should, if you find yourself not getting stuff done, just to try and do something, and then don't beat yourself up about what you don't do, but rather try to reward, or I guess appraise yourself with the things that you do actually manage to achieve. You're really good at catching bugs, right? I think we should just put that little theory to the test. Let's see who can catch a common butterfly first. Okay, third day in a row of this. Yeah, I'm not a psychologist or anything, obviously. I'm just some guy, but that's all. It's very yeah. Where was I even? I mean, I started this all with with falling asleep. Yeah, so, like, yeah, I've been falling asleep at midnight basically every night for the past week, and it's been feeling really good. Or at least, yeah, no, I'd say it's been better. And I've been also reading. I'd recommend reading. I know that people, like in school, I hated the fact that we would have things that were like trying to force us to read a certain amount of time every week, and it always annoyed me. But I'd say do put aside time for reading and just make sure you're trying to read something that's like you actually enjoy. Because what I ended up finding was, at least like the books that I enjoy the most nowadays aren't fiction like you'd think as a kid. For me, the most enjoyable books I find to read are the non-fiction stuff, which I and those end up being subjects that interest me. Hey, just the other day I met this one kid named Scoop. Totally different from you. This kid was like a total poor kid. I've been good friends with Scoop for like forever. If this was a soap opera, it'd be about time for the plot twist. Yeah, but reading, I know it's like super generic advice that I mean, I don't even know if I'm giving advice. I'm kind of just talking about all this stuff that I've been doing. I just think it is, I don't know. I mean, and it doesn't, like, I will say that, and this is something that I guess is a little bit, I'm not ashamed to admit it, but it is kind of, like, silly that a lot of this stuff was, kind of, influenced by Pokemon Sleep, which is like the Pokemon. I mean, it speaks for itself. It's an app a Pokemon game made about sleeping, and because it like rewards you based on how well you follow bedtimes, and my bedtime in that game was set to midnight. I was like, I should do that. I should go to bed at midnight. But I mean, I haven't been rewarded for sleeping in my bedtime in that game since a couple days ago, and I'm still been doing it. So like, I guess don't let things like don't be I guess ashamed of the things that influence you into doing stuff like that. Obviously, ideally you should be influenced by your own your own just like willingness to like better yourself. But if that isn't how that ends up happening, which for the majority of us it isn't going to be, let's be honest, then don't be afraid to be, I guess, influenced into learning good habits. I'm gonna close my window real quick. Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's oh, hey Hugh. It's really dark out now. It's not really. I recently got this really nice picture of a couch. I haven't shown anyone yet, but I could show it to you. Want to see it? No thanks. You don't like couches? That's too bad. Aren't you even a little into them? Maybe a little. Sheesh, why don't you just say so from the beginning? You're weird. But to celebrate your presence, I'll give you my kitty table. Naturally, because that's what people do when they talk. I do have a kitty table. I only need a kitty clock. I feel like I've probably established that by now, but I always keep forgetting. Yeah, so if Pokemon Sleep ends up being the thing that influenced my life to be better, then I will say I'm not, like, I'm in a rut or anything. I was just always kind of mad at, like, a bit mad at myself for not following better sleep routines. I think it's better. Like, that's the other thing, is that I guess, you can, if you improve, that doesn't mean the state that you're in before improvement is like, you're like, horrible shit, like everything's going wrong. Like there's, I guess, a degree of nuance, in the sense that you can improve beyond being in a good position, or you could improve beyond being in an improved position. Like, so I guess I need to buy medicine. I didn't buy medicine. Is it down here, or is it up there? No, it's down here. Yeah, but I mean, I don't... all this stuff I've been talking about self-improvement, I still don't, like, regularly exercise, which I need to do. But, like, it's very difficult to be a human being. That's, the best way I could discuss this. Oh, and I didn't even think tomorrow, cherry blossoms are out, aren't they? That's gonna be so nice. But yes, being a human being, or at least an ideal human being... Well, that's the thing. You can't be perfect. No one's perfect. There isn't a single perfect person on this planet. Like, you think all these celebrities who look like they're in great positions in their lives, well, some of them have, like, killed people. So, like, no, I'm not even, like, sugarcoating that. There are just ones that have killed people that look like their lives are awesome. Like, there's either people who are in great positions who have done bad things, or people like us who are pretty normal who get by. Poncho, a person's abilities are tested when defending rather than attacking. Anonymous. Gotta be honest, I have no clue what it says. Still, just by looking at it, I can tell the writer was super pumped up. Oh, get fired up, you'll all feel the adrenaline rush flowing. Yeah, but you can't be perfect, so it's about treating each small victory as a victory, and always be willing to go further, I guess. But anyway, it's just about me playing Animal Crossing. I haven't really been talking about the game itself for a bit, either today or yesterday. I've just been sort of talking while playing. Oombloid. I have an Oombloid already. But yeah, all that stuff. I sure did say a lot of stuff, didn't I? I don't know. I think the biggest thing is, like, that what I was talking about the idea of wasting days, and it's just... Yeah, it's very hard. I'm also a big I was gonna say plagiarist. No. Procrastinator. That's the word. That's yeah. I'm a big procrastinator. I've been a procrastinator since as far back as I remember, but I can't exactly remember how far. So I'll try to think of that later. Anyway, but no, yeah. I've always been a procrastinator, and it's really hard. I can't beat it. It's such a hard habit to me to break, and I feel like. Yeah, but, so the idea of, like, getting the most out of every day is always, like, something that makes me anxious if I don't, do well enough, I guess, in a day. But yeah, like I said, sometimes you just gotta... I've watered all these flowers. Sometimes you just gotta accept where you are rather than, like, envy the place you could be. Unless that envy leads you to actually getting there, in which case, more power to you, I guess. Here you go. If I quit out of giving him medicine here, will he be mad? It'll make me sick. That's funny. Here you go. Little bear. Crazy, I'm feeling better already, little bear. Oh, you. Yeah, no problem, man. I'm gonna go... Yeah, I'll have a coffee in the game. On the roost. And then that'll be it for today, because there won't be any visitors. Since Joan would have already been here. Just make sure I've ordered all of these. But all that being said about my long, drawn out, whatever, all the things I said, I mean, if you got anything out of that, then I'm surprised. I'd be surprised. Anyway, let's get a coffee. Time for a cup of Java to pick you up. It's 200 bells. What plan would you like? Usual? Whatever you say. Then up comes 1-up cup of your favorite blend spoon. There we go. The perfect temperature to bring out the flavor. 176 degrees. One fresh brewed cup. Drink up. Thanks. Sloop. What an odd flavor. A bit acidic and it's strangely refreshing. Thanks. Alright, that's probably going to be about it for today. Yeah, like another day where I didn't really get much done. But tomorrow's going to be really exciting because we're going to be seeing those cherry blossom trees, which will be cool. So yeah, hopefully out of all of that stuff I was talking about, like I said, that at least someone got something out of anything. Because I kind of just started talking and didn't stop, as is per usual at this point. Alright, that's going to be about it for today.